Another day, another dollar in this absolute beautiful world we call truck driving. I did a live feed last night revisiting the Mack truck situation. We had a 2004 Mack Vision with a E7 style engine or AC 427, whatever type of Mack engine it was, remanufactured by the Mack dealership, and also it had a different transmission. They had swapped the old transmission for a new transmission. So we had a reman engine with a reman transmission, and I revisited the video, showed y'all that the company I was working for at the time, they had allowed all their owner operators to get whatever trailer or truck up against the fence you wanted. All you had to do was come out your pocket $1,500. The rest of the money they was gonna take out your settlement, the repairs, everything else, trailer rental if you had to rent their own trailer, all that stuff was coming out your settlement. So I ended up getting a pneumatic trailer, and y'all know I still got it today. We just hooked up to the $15,000 flat top. Out of pocket I only paid $1,500 for that trailer. And then of course I kept it leased on to Horizon, and ended up paying a total of $7,000. I thought it was $7,500, but it was $7,000. So came out to be probably the best deal I ever did in trucking, because that trailer made so much money, and even today it still has the ability to make even more money. So I'm satisfied. But one would ask, well Andrew, why you didn't get the truck? Well, asking me why I didn't get the truck is like asking me why I didn't get all the other trailers up against the fence. I already had a truck. I had already bought a truck. I bought the $15,000 flat top. I needed a trailer. Lottie Dottie needed a truck. You see the difference? So I know it was a great deal, so I got on the phone. Okay, who I know on my phone that would like to get this great deal? Okay, well, I'm trying to get Lottie Dottie to come out to this oil field and get this money. So I told him about it. I thought the risk was very light, $1,500. Who don't wanna pay $1,500 to get a truck? It ain't like I can call Josh. Josh, he was playing Black Pearl and all that nonsense. So y'all saw the video, so no need to elaborate. But I don't want y'all thinking that I was making fun of Lottie Dottie. Look, everybody grown. If he didn't want the truck, he didn't want it. Hey, that's just what it is. What it is. Hey, look, just like he didn't want the truck, almost everybody at that carrier didn't want them trailers. Why? Because I can't make no money with no old trailer. How am I gonna make money with a 1980 trailer? Even though they gonna let me lease it on to them because it's their trailer, and I'm already grossing $10K. I can't make no money with that old trailer. I'm like, brother, it's just tires and brakes. I can't make no money with no tires and brakes. So a lot of people, when you get in this trucking industry, what you gonna find out? A lot of people did not graduate. They didn't cross nobody's stage. They don't have the financial education. They don't have the know-how on how to save money. What's a good deal? What's not a good deal? Should I take the risk or should I not take the risk? Should I be W-2 or 1099? If I am 1099, how can I get ahead? That takes time to learn. Even if you don't have the high school diploma or the GED, you can still learn from other people like Andrew and other people that'll help you out, give you the game for free and not the fee, because I ain't never charged nobody a dime. Nah, I ain't never charged nobody a dime. What I do is I come on here and get on this camera and I talk to y'all for free, free for you, paid for me. You understand what I'm talking about? That's how I get paid. I get paid. You watch the video for free, and you watch the ad, and the ad pays me. That's how we do that. That's why I don't charge for no emails and text messages and phone calls. I ain't never charged nobody a dime. Even the women that came around me, I ain't never charged them nothing. Ain't charged nothing at all. Just like when Lottie Dottie finally get this truck and do whatever he gonna do with it and break down and call me because he in some pickle of a situation, think I'ma charge him? Nah, I should though. I really should. Yeah, I should charge him at least one time. You know, since you know, charge him for all the years it took him to get this truck. So much time that went by. I said, man, I don't even think Lottie should get a truck, man. I honestly think he should skip the truck and just go for a house. Be honest, man. So much time that went by. So much time that went by. But it's never too late. It's never too late. Why? Because told Lottie, hey man, you know, learn a skill that's gonna pay you more money than that drive-in. He went and done flatbed. So at least if he get a truck, I know the rates on DAT for flatbed is gonna pay higher than drive-in, so he can survive, but he got to get the truck mechanically sound and all that good stuff. I think he'll do great if, as long as he go with a Detroit engine. He come back with some type of cat engine or some type of X15 Cummins or Pack Car MX13. I ain't got no hope for him. I ain't got no hope for him. You know, Volvo engine, I ain't got no hope for him. Max Force, I ain't got no hope for him. He come back, you know, with something like a Detroit 12.7, 14 liter, N14 Cummins, Mercedes-Benz. Any of these engines that cost a low amount of money to operate, I think he'll do fine. I think he'll do fine. But if he come back with this Pack Car engine where the dealership told that one fella 60, 70 some $1,000 for a rebuild, hey, I don't know, brother. You can't even go to the Russians and get that kind of money. But that ain't what this video is about. We back on the settlements now. In the previous VL trucking settlement video, I was trying to figure out, you know, what was the difference between 2020 and 2025, because you know, I wasn't operating in 2020, you know, $15,000 flat top, the engine blew up. So I didn't know about all this money people were getting until years later. You know, a lot of people say, well, Andrew, you know, your pneumatic freight was COVID-19. Well, COVID-19, I wasn't running because my engine was blowing up. So what, and also the freight that I was hauling for back then pays the same thing as it do today. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, and so does the driving freight. Everything pays the same. You just don't know it. That's the problem. You don't know it. But see, that's what you got me for. That's what you got me for. So I had one of my buddies. He sent me some VL trucking settlements, because you know I was unsure about these deductions. I was unsure. You know, is it the freight rates? Was you guys making $4 and $5 a mile with a drive-in, or what was going on? Where he worked at VL trucking, and he sent me 4 settlements, but I'm gonna look at one. Let me pull up one, see which one I'm gonna look at. Okay, the first one. Okay, here we go. I might have to look at 2 of them because I gotta compare the 2. But the first one, he did 4 loads. VL trucking charged him 80%. 80% of whatever he grossed was $10,720. He had to pay a $34 toll. He had some look like some referral bonuses. Not much money, you know, just $291. That's irrelevant. But his only deduction was a truck note, which is $499. So they charged him 20% to be leased owned, and his lease payment for his truck was $499. That's all he was paying. Check amount $10,478. Then of course the fuel missing. Come on, lease drive. Why is the fuel always missing? We'll say the fuel was $2,500. Okay, $2,500. Still took home like $7,900 somewhere right in there. So it's still a good check though, is what I'm saying. Why? Because from what I'm seeing, back in 2020, it wasn't that the rates was paying more money, it's that the Russians was charging you guys less money, less deductions for these trucks versus now. Okay, now let me bring up another settlement. Let me scroll. I haven't actually looked at all these settlements, so let me go through all 4 right quick. I'm just gonna slide through them. Yeah, all of his deductions are the same except for one particular check. Okay, I guess they charge this monthly on the 4th check. Okay, let's do the 4th check. So let me bring up the 4th check so y'all can see. He did 2 loads. California to Portland, Louisiana, paid a little bit over $7,000. He got 80%, which is like $5,600. Is VL trucking reefer or dry van? This is reefer, ain't it? This is hazmat reefer. This ain't dry van. This is reefer. Okay, so reefer paid a little bit more than dry van. This is hazmat reefer, although I don't know if the loads are hazmat or not, but I know they reefer, because VL trucking it was reefer. Okay, so can you get from California to Louisiana right now $7,000? Only way for me to check, I gotta go on DAT load board. Let me just go in here right quick. Number C. I'm gonna go from Los Angeles, California. Now y'all can't see this part, you know, because I don't want to put all this in the video. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But let me just go from now to Louisiana. See what the current prices is, if something even pop up at all. Oh shoot, I need a city. What, New Orleans? That's a bad area. Oh, I ain't never had no freight go to New Orleans, but let me just put it in for a reefer and just put in, I'm gonna do a radius of 450 miles. Let's go for today and tomorrow. Search, okay, let's see. Let's go to highest rate. Okay, from California to Louisiana, with a reefer, it's not much freight, man. You only got 26 loads. The highest load I'm seeing, 1,900 miles, 4,200, $2.17. Which it's looking like that New Orleans area is just a bad area. Let me do Houston, Texas. Nope. About 47 is the highest I see. So you got 7,000, so could be a hazmat load. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Better rate, but it's not about if it was a better rate or not. What I'm seeing is the deductions was way less. Let's look at the deductions, okay? He still had the truck note, $499. And then he had occupational accident insurance, which was $150. So that's for the whole month. And then he had, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on. Something ain't right. Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, never mind. I see what's going on. This is a team operation. Okay, now I'm seeing what's going on. I'm like, why is it 2 occupational accidents? Okay, so this is a team truck. Yeah, even better, okay? So team truck, my bad. Okay, so they running teams. Okay, so more than likely they was running legal at that. But even as a team truck, they deductions, they only had to pay $150 each for the driver, for the passenger, for occupational accident insurance, and the truck note, for whatever reason, on this week was $1,000. So I'm going to assume maybe they switched trucks. Yeah, because the rest of them is $499. Nope, one of them is $1,000. So what's going on? Okay, 1 week is $499. The next week is $1,000. $325 is $1,000. Wait, I'm trying to figure it out. $621. Okay, it looks like he been there for a couple of years. The first truck they had was $499, and then it looked like a March of at the end of March they had got a new truck, and that was $1,000 a month. So they just swapped trucks. So what I'm getting at the end of the day, VL Trucking back in 2020, they simply, or not just VL Trucking, the rushes in general, they simply was allowing you guys to run a truck, as if you pretty much was a cash operation, except just a truck note. That wasn't even no trailer notes or e-laws or escrows. That wasn't none of that. They just charge you a truck note, and a truck note was cheap, $4.99. Now, I wouldn't have switched to that $1,000 truck. I would have stayed right there, $4.99. But I understand their team, they was probably having maybe a lot of breakdowns or something, and I can understand not wanting to dump all that money into a lease truck, so just go ahead and switch it out. That kind of makes sense. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Same money, okay? Like I said, that's team freight. Okay, I didn't go on DAT Load Boy and look up team reefer freight. Let me see if that's Josh's line right there. Josh, what type of team loads they got? Because I didn't check team reefer. Let me go check team reefer, see if anything changes. Team reefer, where is it? I'm gonna click reefer hazmat and reefer team. That's all I want to see. Let's see what we come up with. The highs I'm seeing for a team, 5,500, California to Jackson, Mississippi. Nope. Rates ain't as high as they was during that time. Not for teams, at least. So, you fast forward 4 years. Now they charge you truck note, trailer note, escrow, IFTA, ELD fees, administrative fees, every type of fee you could think of, they sticking it to you. You guys think that you was doing better in COVID-19, but in reality, the Russians, they just wouldn't charge you all the fees that they are now. See, if you got rid of all them fees that you guys pay now, and just pay this truck note like you was in 2020, you guys would be loving trucking right now. You'll be loving trucking because you'll feel like a cash truck driver. Could you imagine if you didn't have the truck note, the trailer note, and all that shoe shine? And then you guys wonder why we like the cash operation. You guys be asking, hey Andrew, man, I'd rather lease a truck and pay all this money. Really? Didn't you run in 2020? You don't see the difference? Do you not see the difference in your check from 2020 to now? Just go back, pull your 2020 settlements and look at them. Russians charge you less money. Fast forward, they done found a way to soak all the money out of you. Soak all the money out of you. So, you know, even if the rates was elevated a little bit for the trucking, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys was running legal back in 2020 from what I see. Today, man, you got an unlimited clock, so I don't understand what okay, so what? You got so what if the rates were a little bit high? You were running legal back then. Now, you got an unlimited clock. So what, do an extra load then, fool? Yeah, do an extra load. If I ran a team operation in my Classic with a cash truck 12.7, drive in, reefer, flatbed, I don't care what it is. Truck not stopping, I'm negotiating. We go on the Freightliner for all repairs, except overhaul. Will we even do that? I don't even think I'd do that. If the starter go out, more than likely I call a mobile mechanic. I go to Freightliner to get the part, of course. If the air compressor go out, we'll probably pull up the TA. Now, I don't know if TA do air compressors. We'll have to pull up to somebody's shop and get that taken care of. If the AC go out, you know, Freightliner got the parts. Go to Speedco or TA or mobile mechanic. You know, anybody do AC, get that fixed. Alternator, batteries, that's all TA. Tires, brakes, brake chambers, shots, airbags, all that's TA, Speedco. Yeah, only thing you would be trying to go to Freightliner for is, do you want them to overhaul your engine? And that just depends on where you break down that. There is some cases where I would pay Freightliner, like for example, I broke down up in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Okay, well, up in Cheyenne, Wyoming, you only got two options. Either you finna let one of these dealerships rebuild this motor, or you finna get some tow bill to take you back across the country. And man, I ain't finna pay no tow bill to get about Cheyenne, Wyoming, unless you got somebody, you know, rent a what do you call them, tow pros, and come get you. So there are some cases where maybe Freightliner would come in handy. Plus, you know, if you do get your engine rebuilt by Freightliner, at least you'll get that national warranty to where, you know, if you break down, you can go to any Freightliner and they'll fix it under warranty. You know, you'll have to get the extended warranty through Daimler. So it's got its perks. It's got its perks. It's got its perks. But anyways, hopefully y'all learning something from these videos. Like I said, we wasn't trying to attack Lottie Dottie. We were just revisiting the truck. What would I do nowadays if I were Lottie Dottie? Like I told Checkmate, there's an auction right there in Tunica, Mississippi. It's the Taylor and Martin auction. I would just, if I saw a truck at that auction with a 12.7 14-liter Detroit, $7,500, $8,000, I go buy that. And down the street from the auction is the secret shop. By the way, I need to text him and see if he I'm gonna text him right now and see if he called a secret shop. Text him right now. Let me know if he might call me. Alright, I just texted him. I told him, let me know if the secret shop's still in business. But anyways, I get a truck right there at the auction, and I would just tow it straight to the secret shop, let them rebuild the motor. You drop the truck off over there, okay? We know you ain't gonna have the money for it, but drop it off over there, get back in the Russian truck, and get the money. Get the money for the overhaul kit. You know, you gotta work out here. Order overhaul kit from online or from Freightliner, have it shipped down there, because that's what I do. I just ship the parts down there, you know. Go on ATL Diesel, put in the address, ship it to him, ship the cylinder here, ship the starter, you know, and he'll call you when it's ready. Pay a little $3,500 labor or $45, whatever he charging nowadays. I don't know. I'm getting some updated prices myself. But that's too much game for y'all. That game I should be really charging for. Disclaimer, this video is absolute. Listen to me, drivers. This is absolute. I'm not trying to get you guys to buy a truck, buy a trailer, get an authority, start an authority, go do pneumatic freight, go do the oil field, go do flatbed, drive in a reefer, or even think about how much more money you may or may not can make as a 1099 driver or W2, or if you got your own authority. That's not what this video is about. I'm just simply talking about the difference between 2020 and today and Lottie Dottie situation. That's all. That's all this is about. And most definitely from that video from yesterday, I don't want you guys thinking that if you go work for one of these pneumatic carriers, they finna pay you $10,000 and $20,000 a load or some nonsense like that. It's not gonna happen at all.